Hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about editing and the subtracting decimals using models, and our learning target for today is for you to be able to model decimal addition and the subtraction using the base 10 blocks. So the first thing we need to remember before we get started, what the base 10 blocks represent when we modeling. So here the flat gonna represent our ones place, and the long on the rows represent our tens place, and the units going to represent hundred place. So we think about our place value charge is gonna be in the place, tens, hundreds place. And now when we're modeling subtraction and addition using the base 10 blocks, we're not going to looking at the thousand here, the thousands place, because that's not something that we can show quite as easily. So we're going to just focus on using the tenths and the hundreds for today. So we're gonna go ahead and start, and by looking at the hundreds, start looking and at editing decimals. So the first thing we need to think about is when editing decimals, you're going to be given two numbers. You're gonna want to build both of those decimals using base 10 blocks. So the first number is 1 and 37 hundredths. 1 and 37 hundredths. So I have 1 right here represented by my flat, and the 3/10 represented by my 3. Yeah, 3. And then 7 hundredths represented by my 7 units cubes. And so that becomes 1 and 37 hundred. 1 and 37 hundred. 1 and 37 hundredths. And the second number is going 1 and 85 hundredths. 1 and 85 hundredths, so that I have my 110, 1 and 8 tenths, uh, and the 5 units or the 5 hundredths here. So the next thing that we have to do is we're going to go ahead and start editing at the smallest place value. Here is the hundredths place, so I'm going to start here. And the important things to remember that you're going to regroup when the sum of any place value is 10 or more. So let's add, and I have 7 hundredths here and the 5 hundredths down here. I'm gonna look and add those together and become 5 plus 7. 5 plus 7. Well, I'm gonna need to regroup because the sum of the place value is more than 10, right? So when I regroup my hundreds, I can make 10 hundreds into ones, and so I'm gonna do by cycling tens of my hundreds cubes, and I'm going to make them into one rod, and I'm gonna add that over here. So for this 100 cube, it I will change into this one rod, and so I regroup it. Yeah. So it will become extra tenth here, and then my hundreds place is only two only two hundreds left over. So write down for the hundred place, write down 2. And so we're gonna look at the 10th place. We're gonna look at the 10th place. So see how many 10th place are there. Okay, we're gonna add those up. So I have 8 down here, and I have 4 tenths up here, because remember we regroup this one to make it 4 tenths instead of 3. So I have 8 plus 8 plus 4, well, is also become a 12. So I gonna have to regroup here as well. So I can go ahead and take 3 their 8 tenth here and include 2 of my tenths from my first number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tenths. Then it will make one whole and going to regroup it again to make one extra one whole. So this 10, this 10 I will regroup, and then I will make it extra one whole here, one whole flat here. Okay. So for the 10th place, what is the leftover? So the leftover is two rows left over, and so you write down the decimal here. Decimal is always the same place like that, and let's look at the one place that one here is one flat, two flats, three flats. So this represent 3 ones. They're going to be 3 in one place. This 3 in one place. So write down 3 here. 3 one place. So my answer to editing 1 and 37 hundredths plus 185 hundredths is going to be 3 and 22 hundredths. Yeah. Okay, so let's move to the subtraction decimal. Is that so the subtraction decimal is that you're going to build the first number and then you take away the second number, and then you regroup whenever the value of the digit being subtracted is greater than or the value of the digits I am subtracting from. So here, let remove for the 700th place, and the 7, I have 7 here, and then for the 700ths, you take away 200. So you remove this 2. So how many left over? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 500 will be left over here. And how about the 10th place? 8, you will be take away 4. So I have 8 rows here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you take away 4 rows for the 4th tenth. 4 tenths here. So you take away, you cross it out, and then how many rows were left over? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4 left over, and then you take it down the decimal place here, decimal point here, and then here 1 for the 1 place, here 2, you take out 1. So you would take out this whole, 1 whole. So how many whole we left? Only 1 whole left. So you write down 1. So the final answer for this one is 1 and 1s and the 45 hundredths is for the subtraction on the decimal. Okay, so here is the practice for your homework, and then you go back home and then you practice these 4 problems using the 10 blocks models that we have taught today, we have learned today. Okay, see you for the next class.